Okay.
Welcome to day 313 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother Brian. And remember, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in CloutFeed. It's not really too much news today. There's a few things we want to touch on. Clay Perry Music, he released a new single entitled James, and it's about the unfortunate loss of his father who passed away a few weeks ago from COVID. It was produced by St. James. It's a really awesome song. I mean, it's touching and it's just an overall great song. The production's great. The lyrics are great. You definitely check it out if you haven't already. And again, our best wishes go out to Clay Perry Music, who lost his father a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he also made the video exclusive to DeSo, at least for the time being. Uh, I think he means a lot to the DeSo community. And I think the DeSo community means a lot to Clay. He's a great guy, great person. Had an opportunity to meet him in Miami. Just our hearts go out to him and his family.
Miami and New York. We got to meet him,
Right.
hang out with him. So yesterday, Cassius was on TV.
Yeah, so Cassius Cuvée, who was known for his rap lyrics pertaining to SPACs, which are investment vehicles in the stock market. He was on CNBC, CNBC's Fast Money yesterday afternoon, and he actually talked a little bit about DeSo and how he has his own social token on DeSo, how his drive is to kind of educate the public about crypto, but doing it in an entertaining way. I know his SPAC video from earlier last year got, I think, 150,000 views on YouTube. He was on CNBC a couple times talking about that video. But I think that the important part of what Cassius is doing is using his skills, which is entertainment and music, to kind of push information and education onto people who might not otherwise turn to crypto. And the 6-minute piece that aired yesterday was great. Not a ton of it was about DeSo, but it was about crypto, it was about what he's trying to do, and he mentioned DeSo for a little bit of it. And I think that's stuff like this is what we need. We need people to start talking about it in the public and opening the public's eyes up to what Web3 is, which is what he's doing. But more importantly, of course, what DeSo is and how decentralized social media can kind of move the ball forward, both from a technology standpoint and from a creator standpoint, where you're putting the ball back in the creator's hands and allowing them to monetize things. So great job, Cassius. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope we see some more music coming from you, maybe regarding DeSo. I know you had the BitClout rap. You had Do It for the Clout back. I think it was probably in like June.
We were in that
and
video,
that was great as well. So
didn't he mention us in that video?
yeah, we were mentioned in the video. I remember Goat Trade was mentioned. A lot of people were mentioned in there. It was just fun to watch.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely keep it up, Cassius. I love what you're doing. I know he talked a lot about Web3 in that interview as well. So, Web3 right now, it's pretty much DeSo is the social layer of Web3. So it's great. Gem, we're all familiar with Gem, the upcoming app that I think they raised a lot of funding at a valuation, I believe, of around $40 million earlier, or I guess later last year. They rebranded, they renamed themselves Pearl, and it's now pearl.app if you want to check it out. The service isn't live yet, the website is. You can sign up and be notified when Pearl does go live. I don't know why they renamed it from Gem to Pearl, but I kind of like it. I kind of like the name Pearl quite a bit.
Yeah,
now,
my only question I noticed is, I was just going to say, something I noticed was that there is a website, an NFT website, that kind of acts as a congregator of all the platforms. It's called gem.xyz. So maybe they just didn't want to confuse people, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering what Brutal's going to do now. Brutal has Gem Story, named after Gem and Story. Is he going to rename his app Pearl Story now?
Pearl Story. Maybe.
Pearl
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little late for that. Maybe that's
Brutal.
why
That
they
was
renamed it.
brutal. You just got the name pulled out from under your company.
Yeah. But Jen was like, take that, brutal. We're not gonna let you steal our name. Mubs is at it yet again with another creation. He's created DeSoGeo.com. It's DeSoGeo.com. And it's a really cool app. I added us to it. It allows you to add your location. You log in with DeSo, add your location wherever you are in the world, and then you're added to this huge map. And anyone can view the map and see where everybody else is located. It's really cool because you can kind of find people who are maybe neighbors. Maybe there's people in DeSo who are your neighbors and you never realized it. So I love that idea. I hope people use it. Definitely go and add yourself to DeSoGeo.com. Again, Mubs is awesome. It seems like he has a new project out every day.
Yeah, and just imagine when DeSo has like 1 million daily active users, what this map could really do. I'm sure you find DeSo users from around the corner, pretty much wherever you live. So I love it. I love the idea, and I think it could actually equate to some future meetups if people realize, hey, we have 6 people within a 25-mile radius of us. Why don't we go get lunch or something?
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. And then maybe they can incorporate DeSo Messenger into that, where you can like chat with people within 50 miles of you or something along those lines. I think it'll be a cool idea. Mousai, Mousai. It's an app we talked about previously where they have playlists of individuals who are on DeSo. So if you're a musician on DeSo, if you have a podcast on DeSo, your content can be shown on Mousai, and it's mousai.stream, mousai.stream. But they have holding a contest. It's called the DeSo Tastemaker Contest. And what they want you to do is you go to mousai.stream, log in with your DeSo account, and then you're going to create a playlist. So you're going to find artists, you're going to find tracks, create a playlist. To do this, you're going to right click on a track thumbnail image, or on the track in the queue list, you're going to click on the 3 dots. And then you're going to click on add to playlist and then new playlist, or unless you already have one, then you can add it to an already created playlist. But you're going to do this, you're going to visit the playlist page, share your playlist, tag @Mousai, and encourage your followers to listen. So you can win. The playlist page is sorted by popularity, and the playlist with the most plays by the end of the day on Monday, February 7th, is going to be rewarded nicely. We don't know what the prize is, but there's going to be a prize, and it's going to be nice. So definitely take part in that contest. It's also a great way to get people to use Mousai. Maybe more artists on DeSo can put their music there. Is Cassius Cuvée on there? I believe he is. I'm not sure.
I'm sure if he isn't, he will be soon. But yeah, like I love this. I love the idea behind this contest, and it's definitely going to encourage people to use the app more. They're just one of many applications that I think are kind of undervalued on this protocol right now, and it's just because they haven't been discovered yet.
And we're also going to announce the winner on our show on Monday, February 7th, or maybe the 8th, depending on when they get the winner out. But yeah, we're going to announce the winner, so you're going to be mentioned on our show as well. So Darian Parrish got a package in the mail yesterday, Brian.
Yeah, Tropics, Austin Kenneth, Chasm, they've been working on this Graffiti Guys NFT project. They've been thinking outside the box. They've been doing a lot of really cool things that I would say has been underappreciated, just because maybe some of it's more complex than the average DeSo user has kind of put in their head as how NFTs are supposed to work. But this is the future. And I think utility NFTs that have forging or that have other utilities to them, and projects that go way beyond just that piece of art you get, that GIF or that whatever JPEG that you're downloading. I think that what Graffiti Guys is doing is awesome. And Darian Parrish won one of the Graffiti Guys NFTs, and he got a forged piece sent to him in the mail, shipping paid, and he showed it off in an image, and it was awesome. If you haven't checked it out, go to either the Graffiti Guys username DeSo page or Darian Parrish's DeSo page, and you'll see the image, the picture that he got sent in the mail. Incredible. This is the kind of thing I like to see with NFT projects thinking outside the box. So way to go, Darian for buying this, and way to go, graffiti guys.
Yeah, I think Darian got it for quite a good price too. So there's community events today. Clubhouse, ladies on the mic at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So the weekly Clubhouse event that's held by Michelle Lord and Miss Katie Ann. A lot of the other great ladies from DeSo usually attend. Clout Women Unite, which is Diane, and several other. I mean, there's multiple others. I can't think off the top of my head right now, but it's a great room. So what they do is for the first hour, only ladies are on stage talking about cryptocurrency, metaverses, DeSo, all different topics. And then after an hour, they bring the men up on stage to join in the conversation. So it allows the women to have their voice without being interrupted by men. And I think it's great. Like Michelle Lord really came up with a great idea. And I think it's become quite an active Clubhouse room. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. You can meet some of the great ladies of DeSo there.
Yeah, always a great room.
So that's it with the news. We did want to touch on a topic. I was in a Clubhouse room yesterday, and we were talking about decentralized social media and, can it work? Will it work? Is this the future of social media? And there's two different views. People think it is, some people think it isn't, and others believe that, it has to be created in the right way. But there was an individual who was on stage who said, you keep saying decentralized social, but there's no way a platform is going to work if it's on social media, if it's decentralized. And I had to reply. I had to get up on stage and answer him. And I think there's this misnomer that decentralized social media platforms aren't actually going to be decentralized in a decentralized social world. The blockchain itself is decentralized, but the platforms are centralized. And I think people have to understand that. You're not getting rid of centralization on the website or the node level. You're only getting rid of centralization on the database level. So like we did last week, we released a little tiny blacklist for NFTZ. These are accounts that we blacklisted from our website because we found them to be fraudulent or copyright infringing NFT projects. Now, we black them on NFTZ. That doesn't mean they're blacklisted on Polygram or Diamond App or Supernovas. It means you can't see them on NFTZ. But that data is still in the database. So we shared that blacklist because we feel like, we found scammers. They should be blacklisted on other nodes as well. But it's ultimately up to Polygram. It's up to Diamond App. It's up to all Supernovas and the other apps out there, whether they want to utilize that blacklist that we created. Maybe they want to personally review each individual account to ensure that we did a good job when we decided to blacklist them. Maybe we made a mistake and they want to double check it. So I think you have to realize that the database is decentralized, but the websites are centralized. But I do think there's going to be a centralization of sorts for blacklist and graylist. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, like I've been saying this a long time. I think that the power of DeSo is that it solves multiple problems. If you're the board of directors of Twitter, you have the problem of, okay, so do we ban this person for life and pretty much erase their entire history, or don't we? And DeSo solves that. If Twitter was running on the DeSo blockchain, they could do that. They could say, I'm going to ban this person for life, knowing that that person's entire following and their entire identity and their entire timeline of posts won't be destroyed forever because that database can still be tapped by others. So it solves that problem for if you're a Twitter management or board of directors, they don't have to decide on finality. So that's number one. But also from a user standpoint, it gives a user options. And if you don't like how something's being done on one node, you can go to another node and your identity follows you there. So it's this decentralized identity on the blockchain for everybody that wants to participate. And I think that's really, really important. And what was your question, Ed?
Well, the gray list and blacklist idea,
Yeah, so
I think it's going to be, I think in the long run, there's going to be centralized services that create gray and blacklists for other websites to tap into.
Yeah, so like, for instance, say we're running a node and say somebody creates a node a year or two from now when there's 500,000 daily active users. Now, when they immediately, as soon as that node goes live, they inherit 500,000 daily active users. Now, they're obviously probably going to be a small company since they're just creating a node. How are they going to deal with 500,000 daily active users posting? How are they going to moderate that? And how are they going to deal with the user flow and all of that? And the simple answer is they could maybe tap into this kind of centralized database blacklist or gray list. And perhaps users could report other users, nodes could report users, and there's a point system that's in this database. And then each node can plug into it if they choose. They don't have to plug into it if they don't want to, but they could plug into it and say, hey, I want to leniently moderate. So maybe posts that have 3 points, and I'm just making up a theoretical number, will be blocked from my node. Or maybe you want to say, I want to be really, really strict. So post with only 1 point might get theoretically blocked. So I think things like that can work where of course, the node would have the option to plug into this centralized blacklist or gray list, and they'd have the option to say how strict they want to be in the moderation, but they won't have to do all the work themselves. And something like that could really, really be a really powerful tool.
Yeah, and I think there could be different categories for blacklists as well. There could be, potential copyright infringing accounts, potential copyright infringing NFTs. There could be, political extremism lists where people on one end or both ends of a political spectrum who, the list creators believe have gone to the extreme are blacklisted. Maybe there could be a hate speech blacklist. And then you can pick and choose which ones you want to blacklist. But if you choose a blacklist, that doesn't mean you can't unban an individual on that blacklist. So I think that's the direction we're ultimately going to go in. And instead of Twitter acting as a gatekeeper, these centralized, hopefully community-driven lists will be gatekeepers of sorts, but they're not really gatekeepers because the nodes are the ultimate ones who make the decisions on what content's allowed on their website.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that a system like that would be centralized in that I guess one individual will run it, but it could also be a form of a DAO. And maybe it wouldn't actually be centralized other than it being on the centralized server. And it would be democratized because users would have equal say in what gets blacklisted or what gets graylisted or not, So I think there's people hear centralized and they're like, oh no, this is so counter to the whole crypto space, but it's not really. And when people hear decentralized social media and they instantly think that each platform has to be decentralized, they're totally misunderstanding what decentralization is about from a data perspective.
Well, I mean, you can view it the same with Ethereum and Bitcoin. Bitcoin's decentralized, right? But if you want to get that money out, or if you want to buy Bitcoin, most likely you're going to go through a centralized exchange. So you're not saying Bitcoin's centralized because the exchanges are centralized. No, the exchange is centralized because you need regulation in that area. You need gatekeepers in that area. Like, if you're banned from Coinbase, you can always go to blockchain.com though. So there's alternatives out there. With NFTs, OpenSea, OpenSea is entirely centralized. If you want to buy or sell NFTs, you're probably going to be using OpenSea. That doesn't mean NFTs are centralized or Ethereum centralized. It simply means that the marketplace is centralized, and there's multiple marketplaces out there as well which are centralized. And so I think we got to view it in that light. Decentralized social media doesn't mean that every platform that's running the blockchain is decentralized. It just means that the blockchain itself is decentralized.
Well, yeah, and one final point, because I know we're going to get probably some feedback from some skeptics saying, yeah, but you're not understanding DeSo itself. The data is actually not decentralized. And in a way, you're right. It's so early. We're 10 months into this project. No blockchain immediately becomes decentralized. It takes time. And for the core team to kind of see their vision through to a certain point, it needs to be pseudo-centralized up until a point. But we're moving away from that. The goal is to move away from that. And ultimately, the blockchain will be fully decentralized, I think.
Yeah, to clarify, I mean, what I was speaking of is my view of what decentralized social media is, or what it should be. And that, I think that's the direction DeSo is ultimately going to end up in. So yeah, good point. But yeah, I think that's all we have for today. Have a very happy Wednesday, everyone, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. We have a special guest tomorrow. We're excited to have them on, and we will.
Wait, did the groundhog see its shadow today?
Does it? I know we have extra winter. Does that mean he saw a shadow or didn't see a shadow?
I don't know. We're in Florida, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was down to like 37 the other day, though. All right, see everybody later.